The morning had begun like any other for Arun, but today felt heavier than usual. His office was small and box-like, with walls painted in a dull shade of cream that had long lost its brightness. The air inside carried the faint smell of old files and stale coffee. His desk was covered with piles of papers, unfinished reports, client complaints, sticky notes with reminders, and a laptop screen flashing with unanswered emails. Arun rubbed his temples as he leaned back in his chair. His chest felt tight, and his mind ran in circles. No matter how much work he did, there was always more waiting. Deadlines, demands, expectations, it was as if life had turned into a race he could never win. He sighed deeply, staring at the blinking cursor on the screen, almost mocking him. Outside his window, sunlight streamed freely, warming the trees and the bustling street below. Children walked home from school, laughing, their voices carrying an energy Arun hadn't felt in a long time. But inside, his office felt like a prison cell, trapping him in worry. He couldn't remember the last time he had truly smiled without a weight pressing behind it. By evening, his spirit was drained. Packing up his things, Arun left the office and began walking home. The city was alive with its usual chaos, honking cars, the chatter of street vendors, the rhythm of footsteps against the pavement. But for him, the noise blended into a blur. Each sound only seemed to remind him of how restless and noisy his own mind was. As he walked, something unusual caught his eye. Near the corner of a busy road sat an old woman by a small wooden stall. Her space was no larger than a blanket spread on the ground, covered with heaps of fresh marigolds, bright orange and yellow, glowing like fire against the gray of the street. She looked fragile, her clothes simple and faded, her hair tied loosely in a bun streaked with silver. Yet, what struck Arun most was her expression. She was smiling, not the forced, polite kind of smile that people wear in offices or social gatherings. This was pure, natural joy. Her lips curved gently as she hummed an old tune, carefully arranging the flowers into garlands. Her hands moved with grace, even though they were weathered with age and hard work. Every once in a while, she would laugh softly to herself, as though she had just remembered something delightful. Arun stopped, curiosity pulling him closer. He looked at her humble stall. There was nothing extravagant, just flowers, thread, and a small stool. She didn't have a crowd of customers or a busy business. And yet, she looked more peaceful than anyone he had seen all day, more at ease than the wealthiest people he worked with. Unable to hold back, he asked, "Excuse me, how can you look so happy? You have so little, but you seem so content." The old woman lifted her eyes, her face glowing with wrinkles of wisdom and kindness. She gave a small laugh, almost as if she found his question amusing. "Son," she said gently, "I may not have much, but I wake up each day and thank life for what I do have. The breath in my lungs, the strength in my hands, the joy of selling flowers to people who smile when they take them home. Gratitude is my wealth. It makes my heart light." Her words settled over Arun like a soft blanket, warming him in a way he hadn't expected. He had walked through that street many times, but never stopped to notice her. Never stopped to think that peace wasn't about what he achieved or owned, but how he chose to see life. For a moment, he stood quietly, watching her return to her flowers, still humming as though the world had given her all she could ever ask for. The heavy knot in his chest loosened slightly. He realized he had spent so long focusing on what was missing in his life, that he had forgotten to cherish what was already there. As he walked away, the glow of the marigolds lingered in his memory. Their brightness felt like a reminder, whispering a truth he had forgotten. Peace is not found in more, but in gratitude for what already is. The next morning, Arun woke up earlier than usual. The old woman's words still echoed in his mind, soft yet powerful, "Gratitude is my wealth. It makes my heart light." He sat up in bed, listening to the gentle sounds of dawn. The faint chirping of birds outside, the soft clinking of cups in the kitchen as his wife prepared tea, and the quiet breathing of his children still asleep, all these little details felt different today. They weren't just background noise anymore. They were life itself, offering him a chance to notice and appreciate. As he got ready for work, he picked up a blank notebook from the shelf. It was something he had bought months ago, intending to use but never had. Sitting at his desk with the morning sun spilling through the curtains, he opened it and paused. The page was white, waiting. Slowly, he wrote down 3 simple sentences. 1. I am thankful for my family's health. 2. I am thankful for the tea my wife makes every morning. 3. I am thankful for the chance to work when so many do not have jobs. When he finished writing, something shifted inside him. The problems had not disappeared. The deadlines, the pressures, the chaos of his office, they were still waiting. But for the first time in a long while, he felt as though he was looking at them through a different lens. Gratitude was like a light shining into the dark corners of his heart, showing him that even in the midst of struggle, there was beauty and blessing. That day at work, Arun noticed things he had ignored before. His colleague who offered him a smile in the hallway. The security guard who greeted him with respect each morning. The warm comfort of the first sip of coffee. These small moments stitched themselves into his day like threads of gold. Instead of rushing through lunch, he paused and savored his food, grateful for the nourishment. Instead of getting irritated when a project went wrong, he reminded himself, at least I have the ability to learn and improve. He still felt stress, but it didn't swallow him whole. The knot in his chest that had once been constant began to loosen. Evenings at home transformed too. Instead of carrying the weight of the office into the living room, he began leaving it at the door. He laughed more with his children, listening to their silly stories without checking his phone every few minutes. His wife noticed the change, the softness in his tone, the ease in his shoulders. Something is different about you, she said one night. You seem calmer. Arun smiled, realizing it was true. Gratitude had not solved his problems, but it had given him peace, the kind of peace that made problems seem smaller, less threatening. Weeks passed, and his notebook filled with daily entries. Some were profound, like, I am thankful for the lessons failure teaches me. Others were simple, like, I am thankful for the cool breeze this evening. But each one was like a seed planted in his heart, growing into a quiet garden of contentment. One evening, while returning from work, he once again saw the old flower vendor. She was still there, arranging her marigolds, still humming her tune. This time, Arun didn't just pass by, he stopped. With a gentle smile, he bought a garland from her and bowed his head slightly in respect. Your words changed something in me, he said softly. I started being thankful, and I feel lighter now. The old woman chuckled, her eyes twinkling. That's the power of a thankful heart, son. Gratitude doesn't give you a new life, it helps you see the life you already have in a new way. As he walked home with the garland in his hands, Arun felt a quiet joy rising in him. The world had not changed, but his way of seeing it had. Gratitude had turned his heavy heart into a thankful one, and with it came a peace he had been searching for all along.